Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. After a 7-month break due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the South American World Cup qualifiers resumed today, with the bottom of the table Bolivia hosting Venezuela at the high-altitude Hernando Siles Stadium in La Paz. We have highlights.
Carlos Atze again. Decent cross. Oh, and it's a fine goal for the striker who plays with Cruzeiro in Brazil. Once he got it down and out of his feet, drilled it low past Gratterol, who had absolutely no chance. Just concentrate, try and get it on target. That'll be the message here. See how it rears up there on the goalkeeper, and it's fired in by John Chancellor, and Venezuela are level. It's Rincon's shot. Still think he should do better, Lampe, but full credit to Chancellor, who was there first, and it's Bolivia 1, Venezuela 1. Vaca. Couple of offers here. Arce! Great defending. Was barely out of breath there, Arce, and a good save from Gratterol to deny Saavedra. And come out on this near side for a throw. And it's nicely delivered and a goal! Bolivia are back in front, and it's Bejarano. Excellent delivery from Arce and a perfectly timed jump. And a really well-directed header. Bejarano. Looks for Martins! Goal number 3 for Bolivia. Wonderful header. Bejarano with a cross. He's onside. Played on by Angel, the number 2 for Venezuela. No question about this being a legitimate goal.
Moreno Martins, whichever way you want to have it. 2 goals for him in that game as Bolivia beat Venezuela 3-1. So these are the other games being played today. There's one game ongoing, Uruguay versus Paraguay. That game is 0-0 in the 5th minute. Argentina will meet Chile later, so too will Peru meet Colombia, and then they round out the evening. The late game is Brazil against Ecuador. That game is actually, well, the games played today. Bolivia, Venezuela is done. Uruguay played Paraguay today. Argentina and Chile, and then Peru, Colombia on tap for this Thursday. So yeah, Peru hosts Colombia at the National Stadium in Lima, and the Brazil game is on Friday when they host Ecuador at the Maracanã. All the games will be live on your home of champions. Now, joining us to recap the game completed already and to look ahead to the action upcoming in this round is our Latin American football expert Juan G. Arango. Juan is also a correspondent with the Barcelona-based Diario Sport. Hi, Juan.
Hey, how are you? It's a great start, at least if you're a Bolivia fan, for this World Cup qualifier. Meanwhile, Uruguay and Paraguay, it seems more like UFC 270 or something like that right now in the early stages, but that was to be expected. Again, a great win for Bolivia, a great performance, probably the best performance they've had in this World Cup qualifier. That's saying quite a bit, seeing how poor they've been up to now, but there is without a doubt the best performance that they've had against the Venezuela side that seemed lost and also seemed at times out of breath.
That's what I was going to say, because normally you see anybody playing Bolivia in La Paz and you see, of course, the Bolivians winning, you say, they ran out of steam at some point in the game. Was it only about the fact that they were outworked and suffered and struggled at high altitude, or was it that Bolivia's football on the day was just actually quite good?
It was a combination of everything. I mean, they played better. They generated more opportunities. They created more in front of Joel Gratterol's goal. They did a lot more in the overall scheme of play. Yes, they also made their mistakes. Yes, they did play in altitude. Therefore, you saw a Venezuela side that seemed very fatigued at times. But fatigue doesn't necessarily mean making mistakes or not being able to execute properly. And that's exactly what happened to Venezuela on both sides of the pitch. They weren't able to finish very well. They also weren't able to defend very well. So, case in point, when you're facing a team like that, chances are that they are going to lose.
Yeah, looking ahead to Uruguay and Paraguay, first of all, information you have on those playing the games for both teams. Any familiar names to football fans this side of the world?
You talk about Uruguay and Paraguay.
Correct.
Well, I mean, Almiron's playing. He's the man alongside the two Romero twins who play for San Lorenzo. To me, it seems a very dynamic threesome up top. Luis Suarez playing alongside Jonathan Rodriguez, the man that just won the league title in Mexico with Cruz Azul. Seems a very interesting proposition. Obviously, no Edinson Cavani, as he did not get called up for the national team for World Cup qualifiers. You start to see the Federico Valverdes and the Rodrigo Betancourts being able to hold the middle. And also seeing, you start looking at those types of players and seeing that there's a bit of a passing of the torch when you look at it from a Uruguayan perspective, and seeing that the names of old in the midfield are no longer there. And these youngsters, albeit that they're getting the opportunity, are not only just having to take that opportunity, but make the best of it, and also be able to capitalize on the situation in which they will be the torchbearers from here on out heading into Qatar 2022.
Definitely. One that I'm actually excited about, Argentina will be up against Chile. Of course, Argentina, they had a really good start. I think the only draw they had so far was against Paraguay. What are we to expect for that match?
That's going to be a good one. If that is not the match of the round, it's going to be Ecuador against Brazil in Brazil. To me, it's going to be a very interesting one, knowing that, of course, you have a full-strength Argentina side, a no-look Argentina side that is going to have different protagonists coming into the fray. And in the terms of Chile, well, Arturo Vidal finds himself in the midst of another controversy, as he ends up being positive for COVID-19. But the reasons why he was positive for COVID-19 ended up being even more interesting. And of course, if you look at it and start talking about the intimate issue behind it, no pun intended, you'll see the reason why he isn't so much hot water right now. But seeing all of that aside, you, again, with the team like Chile, start to see some new names, but also some of the old guard coming up and stepping in when they are needed most. So again, this old, I guess, quote unquote, rivalry in South American football, or one that's been developed over the past few years because of their track record in Copa America. Well, again, it's probably going to be one of the interesting matches to look at tonight.
Definitely. And then we have Peru up against Colombia. Both teams off to a rocky start. And of course, Colombia after that 6-1 thrashing by Ecuador. What are we to expect from that?
Colombia right now is in a bit of a shambles. Of course, the main storyline the past couple of days has been James Rodriguez not getting called up and then not getting called up.
Right.
Then Juan Fernando Quintero, the man from River Plate who's now playing in China, gets called up and then doesn't get called up. And the issues that have gone on between the Colombian national team and Everton, the medical staff of the Colombian national team at Everton, James Rodriguez and the Colombian national team and then the Colombian national team coach, and everything that ensues. And the talk in the Colombian press has been exactly that. How are we going to do without James? What are we going to do without Falcao? And they forget that they do have a solid enough squad against a Peru side that's been struggling, a team that has not been able to beat Colombia in Peru in over 40 years. Again, you start to see the question marks that are developing there, and you start saying, wow, is this real? Is this something that could happen? And am I living in an alternate world where I don't see a solid Colombia side, albeit a team that has not practiced together, a team that has not practiced with their new coach ever up to this week? So you start to look at it from that perspective. With Peru, you look at a side that is very understanding of the project, understanding of their coach, and you start to bring in some of the old pieces. We have to see how good and how unrusty they are.
Yeah, you seem, Juan, to be doubting Colombia's status for these qualifiers. Of course, they were, along with Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentina, the four automatic qualifiers from CONMEBOL for 2018. You're suspecting that quartet may not look the same this time?
It's not that it doesn't seem this way. On paper, they're one of the more solid sides in South American football. But you start saying, okay, who's our leader? Right now, the captain's going to be Juan Cuadrado, who's been probably the best player on this Colombian side. If you look at his track record over the past year, maybe the two players, Muriel and Zapata from Atalanta, could also challenge there. But he's been amongst the most solid players in Serie A so far this year. That being said, he also has a history with the Colombian national team. And another question that's emerged, do we play him as a winger? Do we play him as a right back? What do we do to maximize him the most? And that's been where Reinaldo Rueda's really not been able to understand where exactly to put him. We'll find out tonight where he does.
Yeah. Just before we go, Juan, the status of Arturo Vidal. The Chilean.
Positive for COVID. He had a throat issue, and as soon as he ended up turning up positive, he was hospitalized. He had a case of dehydration as well. But it wasn't that. It was the case that all of a sudden in the Chilean press, they started putting out things that he had on Instagram, that he met with someone in the hotel, a female friend over in the hotel, and started to meet up with him. He essentially broke the bubble, and as soon as he came back, he was tested. He started feeling symptoms, COVID positive. So who knows when he will be returning, and that again is a major blow for Chile in this match and possibly in the next one coming up against Bolivia.
Let's hope COVID is the only thing he caught. Thank you very much, Juan. All the best to you.
All right, man. See you later.
Good. We go to the break with Olympic Corner.
You will never behave.
In today's Olympic Corner update, a Japanese city due to host Kenya's team for a pre-Olympics training camp has been cancelled due to the coronavirus. The Kenyan Olympic Committee says a letter from Kurume reported that COVID-19 infections have rapidly spread in the city since mid-April, and the situation has been recognized as critical. The city told Kenya's team that the sports facility it had set aside to be used by the visiting athletes for their pre-games preparations have now been turned into vaccination centers. The head of the Kenyan team says it is too late to organize another training facility in Japan before the Olympics. Kenya's team was due to spend 12 days in Kurume from July 7 to acclimatize before the Tokyo Olympics open on July 23. That's it for today's Olympic Corner. Remember to watch the SportsMax Zone for your daily Olympic updates.